the crew, the Las Vegas Raiders, are getting closer to the combine. I mean, to the draft. Combine's already passed. To the draft. They're getting closer and closer. Roll up, pull up, pack up. Let's get it in, man. Let's get unleashed. Also, a player, after watching a little bit of film and an episode that showed up earlier today on my TV, a player that the Raiders have to have, man. Anybody in the NFL needs this man on their roster. And if they don't, I don't know what's wrong with the NFL. Also, a high profile player that could help this team get to where we need to be has asked for a trade. You know who it is. Let's talk about it. What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing? Appreciate y'all pulling up in the building, man. Not a lot going on, but a lot going on. The Raiders have finally pulled the trigger. I got a little text message saying Kirk Cousins is now officially signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Greg Brewer, first one in the building. What's good, my guy? What's good with you? But yeah, Dexter Lawrence has asked for a trade from the New York Giants. A man that didn't have any sacks last year, but the year before had 9. The year before that had 5. The year before that had 4.5. He's a man that can plug the middle. Not all the time the Raiders are going to be in a 3-4 defense, but when they are, he's a man that's not coming off the field. If you're telling me you got, I mean, I don't know what they're going to run, if they want fast guys on the end or what, when they got 3 guys with the hands in the dirt. But if you got Thomas Booker, Dexter Lawrence, and Jonah Laulu or whoever, man, the Dodgers are killing it right now. And whoever is next to him with Max Crosby on the end, come on, man. And then you have linebackers like Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker and whoever else they decide to bring in. This defense would be officially nasty, sack crazy, right? In a Rob Leonard defense that's going to be blitz heavy. I feel, he knows what it means to put pressure on the quarterback and be able to stop the run at the same time, which is why they're going to be in a 3-4 where they can mix a whole bunch of schemes in and have offenses guessing, right? If you can keep the quarterback guessing, you have a way higher percentage of getting to the quarterback, right? If he's having to make decisions, hold the ball too long. And the Raiders, hopefully, that is the plan. So let me know what y'all think. Also, could Tom Brady be thinking about withdrawing as minority owner from the Las Vegas Raiders, or just taking his name completely out of the process and just being a silent minority owner? We'll get to that in a minute. There's been some reports. We'll talk about that. But first of all, what's good with y'all, man? What's good with y'all? How's everybody doing on this mucking fun day? Devaney Tees, what's good? What's good? Stephen, my guy, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. Navy vet in the building. How's work going? Appreciate you pulling up. But yeah, man. So I think Dexter Lawrence would be a great pickup. Now, the biggest question of all, right? The biggest question of all. Actually, what do you have? Not too good last year. 17 assisted sacks. Assisted tackles, 14 combo. He did have an interception. But 2024, man, all those numbers were up. 9 sacks, 21 assists, 23 combo. Tackling machine, but at 28, right? Is he getting up there? And the biggest question is he worth a second round pick? Is he worth 36? I don't know. Could the Raiders pull something sneaky and be like, well, I guess that wouldn't matter either. Maybe trade back at 36 and then call up the Giants and be like, yo, so we don't have 36 anymore, but we have 40 or 42. And then we pick up a third round, right? Trading back out of that 36 spot, pick up another player, and then get on the phone and be like, yo, y'all still trying to trade Dexter Lawrence if he's not gone, right? I think it would make sense. Then you're picking up a draft pick. You're not giving up 36. You're giving up a little bit lesser. You probably have to give up whatever that pick is, and probably a seventh round or something. But that makes sense to me, bro. I'd be 100% into adding Dexter Lawrence at 28 years old to this defensive line in a rebuild. Quote rebuild, right? I don't know how much of a rebuild it is at this point, because when you put together a defense as fast as we have, the offense that we have, a quarterback now that could play, whether the rookie's ready or not, and a quarterback behind him that could play if neither one of them are worth a shit, right? So I think the Raiders are in a damn good spot right now. You have could be, one of the top quarterback rooms in the NFL. You have a number one first overall pick coming in, supposedly in Fernando Mendoza. Then you got a guy in Kirk Cousins that has been to three playoffs. He was went to the playoffs with the Washington Commanders. So I do believe once, right? But yeah. So when you got three quarterbacks in the room, one might be on the way out. We'll talk about that. We'll get into that as well. Rosetown, I see you. Rock Sauce, what the fuck kind of name is that? I see you. Brian Foster was good. Faded Raider was do what it do, what it do. But yeah, so what's good, man? Appreciate you. Newman. I ain't even gonna try to pronounce that, but appreciate you popping in. So what do y'all feel? Let me know. Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Dexter Lawrence. Do you bring him in? More than likely, like I said, it's probably going to be a second round pick and, a sixth or a seventh, depending on, what they want. But when a guy's not happy and teams know a guy's not happy, it makes it a lot easier for them to say, well, we can't give you that, but we could give you this, right? You could get with this, so you could get with that. You know what I mean? So, might be a little negotiations. Are the Raiders a team that claim they're in a rebuild, right? With a whole bunch of young talent. Do you take away from this young talent opportunities, snaps on the grass, right? By bringing in a Dexter Lawrence. Because if you bring in a Dexter Lawrence, more than likely, he's not going to be out on the field all the time, but he's going to take away from these young guys that are trying to develop, like JJ Pegues, like Jonah Laulu, right? Adam Butler, we'll see what goes on with him. I don't know if that's the way we're going to go, or if he's even going to win out to be that main guy this year. Maybe when they're in sub packages, you might have him out there, but I thought last year he was going to be one of those guys, and he's not. Trade AOC for Big Dex. Anybody want to hear a story? It's not funny. Maybe somebody can help. I guess, man, you can only type so many words. So as long as it's clean, I guess go ahead and tell your story. Everybody wants to be heard, right? But how y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? I think, like I said, bringing in a guy, I get them Christian Wilkins heebie-jeebies every time I think of paying a guy. It won't be 110 million. I believe his contract is 20 mil. Somewhere in there. So yeah, he's a guy you could bring in, give him 5 mil, sign him to a whatever, $40 million contract, rework it, give him most of his money up front this year, have him on the books for whatever next year, right? It wouldn't be that big of a thing. Lawrence in the building. What are your thoughts? Rosetown says Trey 8OC for Big Dex. Who the hell is Big Dex? Fuck. That might be a possibility. They might not want to go. They might want to draft two quarterbacks. They might not want to let them sit. Arnie Garza was good. If they're feeling like AOC Aiden O'Connell is not going to get a chance to get on the grass this year, maybe his agent does say, "Hey, look, we've been here 3 years, man. Just trade him. Just give him a chance to go somewhere. Quarterbacks get injured all the time in the NFL. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts had to bring in a 59-year-old um, quarterback last year, right? That hadn't played in 3 years, right? So things happen in the NFL. You're gonna need a backup. Every team needs a backup. Aiden O'Connell is a damn good backup. If you look at his record, if you look at his stats, if you look at his touchdown to interception ratio, if you look at the very, very, very little amount of sacks he's taken for being a statue, somebody's going to want him, right? Somebody's going to want him. But I believe the Raiders would be stupid to let him go. Kirk Cousins hasn't been healthy the last couple years, right? Coming off the Achilles, um, didn't play last year except for the last 4 or 5 games, whatever it was, right? How good is he ready to go? Was he told he's getting a starting job? Is there going to be a competition? There's a lot of that. There's scenarios where one of these guys could get hurt in camp, right? And then what? Now you're like, damn, we should have kept Aiden O'Connell. So I don't think you would get more than, you'd be lucky as hell to get a fifth. He was drafted in a fourth. I'd give up a fifth any day. I'd give up a fourth for Aiden O'Connell because I still think he's worth it. Just looking at his numbers. I mean, you can hate on the kid because of his goofiness or whatever, but what everybody wants Fernando Mendoza. So I don't see what the difference is, except for a little bit of mobility, and maybe a little bit more toughness. So if they trade him, they trade him. Let him go play somewhere. I don't know if the Raiders want to trade him, but like I said, maybe his agent be like, "Yo, you're just wasting your career here. These dudes have been doing you dirty and dirty and dirtier every single year." Questions: what happens to AOC trade, or just be a third stringer? That's up to the Raiders. That's up to the Raiders what they do. Like I said, I think it would be stupid to trade him for a sixth round pick. I mean, you're not going to get anybody in a sixth round pick that's going to be able to come in and contribute like he can from day one. We all forget he's had 6 offensive coordinators, 6 in 3 years. The man's going on his 4th year. 6 offensive coordinators, and still has more touchdowns than interception in his career. Somebody, 15 people in the chat, go ahead, Google it, search, ask Gemini, ask whoever you want to, find me a quarterback drafted in any round that has the numbers he does on the positive side, that's even had 2 or 3 offensive coordinators, right? The only person that's even close to him is Jalen Hurts. The only. That tells me toughness. That tells me you got the mindset to be that guy, right? The tornado astronaut could use a backup. Toronto might need him too. Question: which currently projected starter is the weakest link to be replaced in the draft? On the whole team, offense and defense? Isaiah Palamau. I love Palamau, but he's not a cover corner. He's a box safety. He plays the same position as Jeremy Chin. Now, he'd be a great backup for Jeremy Chin. If you put him in, line him up, he's a missile. He can tackle. He can hit hard. He'll get after the quarterback. But if you ask him to turn his hips fluently and cover somebody, or if you ask him to get over in coverage, he's just not that guy. That's not the kind of player he is. Now, can he develop into that? Possibly, but I don't think he has the speed, right? So I think Isaiah Palamau. We need a faster safety. Are we going to have 1 safety high, 2 high? Are we running cover 2? Are we running cover 4 and switching the zone? What is the scheme? We don't know, right? So it's very hard to say on either side, right? Offense or defense. But I think if there was one player that I'm looking at on defense, right? Just projectively, we're looking at Max Crosby starting on the ends. We're looking at probably Thomas Booker. I would say, Jonah Laulu probably starting on the right side, and Thomas Booker, and then like I said, if it's JJ Pegues, that would be great. Have a young talent out there, but more than likely it's going to be Adam Butler. So if you got those three guys, you know, probably the defensive line, Isaiah Palomau or defensive line. I think we're good on guards, believe it or not. You know, I'm not giving up on DJ Glaze. I think the whole offensive line was trash last year. Um, Coaching wise, right? Not the players. I think the coaching scheme, when players have to go on their own time to try to get better as a group, that says a lot about this group, right? I've never heard of players in the NFL going on their own time and trying to get better as the offensive line. And Geno Smith, Geno took a lot of slack last year, but he deserves credit for that. He was out there with Spytek and this offensive line trying to get better. So we have guys that want to win, that want to get better, right? So, you hear all the talk about improve the offensive line. I think it's already improved. Adding Tyler Linderbaum improves the entire offensive line. It makes the interior better, left and right side, whether it's JPJ, whether it's Jordan Meredith, whether it's Caleb Rogers, whether it's Antonio Mafi. Shit, we don't know. We don't know who's going to fit better in Kubiak's scheme, right? A lot of people can look at tape and suggest, oh, this guy's going to be the starter, right? JPJ might not be the fit, right? He's got 14 penalties in a year and a half. Kubiak, when he's asked about offensive linemen, the first thing he said was intelligent. What do you look for in an offensive lineman? Intelligence. We can't have stupid plays. You can't have plays that cost your team 5 yards, 10 yards when they're picking up a first down on 3rd and 7 and it's being brought back. You can't have those plays in the NFL. So, the guys that are the best guys are going to be out there, whether it's JPJ, like I said, whether it's Meredith, whether it's Caleb Rogers. I think our interior is done, right? If Colton Miller stays healthy, we have a bookend. I hear a lot of talk about Charles Grant is going to play right tackle. I think that's a stupid move, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. Why would you take Charles Grant, who was drafted to be a left tackle, to be that bookend, who, he's already had a first year at training over there, and then put him on the right side and just say Colton Miller doesn't stay healthy like he hasn't been able to do the last 2 years? Then what do? Now you're moving him back over there and putting DJ Glaze back in, or Dalton Wagner, or whoever you draft. I don't think that's a wise move. I think you leave Charles Grant with a healthy Colton Miller and learn behind Colton Miller, because Colton Miller, you could see him out there in practices showing these young guys, right? Telling them, not talking about their stance, showing them moves. Colton Miller's a leader, right? He's been here, how long? 10 years? It's a long damn time. So I think, like I said, I think the offensive line is good. Right tackle, I wouldn't mind drafting and having a competition, right? Hopefully there's a competition between him and Dalton Wagner. A lot of people sleep on Dalton Wagner. But Dalton he's made it on this team for 3 years. This is his 4th year. 3 years on the practice squad as a UDFA. The Raiders keep bringing him back. At the end of this year, they signed him to a contract, right? Isn't he signed? I think he's signed to the 56-man roster. So he's not going to be a guy that, unless they bring in somebody else in free agency or draft, somebody, he could be a guy that's on the roster this year and maybe surprises a lot of people, right? I've seen him play at Arkansas. When it comes to the running game, he's a bulldozer. Obviously, he's progressing, or they wouldn't still have him on the roster. I don't think he's just on here for a body. Wide receiver, I'm not going to say I would replace anybody at wide receiver. I mean, we don't know what Jack Bech can do. We don't know what Dante Thornton can do with a quarterback that can actually, get him the deep ball and not take sacks or throw it to the other team. We don't know what Jalen Naylor is going to look like with whoever the quarterback is. We have no idea. So the weakest link, like I said, and it's not the weakest link on the team. It's just the position. He's not in the right position. If you told me Isaiah Palomau was going to start at the strong safety, I'd be all in on that. But at free safety, I can't buy that. We need speed. What else we got? Question: being the last year on the contract, who would you re-sign or cut? Mayer, Tucker, Wilson, or AOC? I mean, if Spytek's a man of his word, right? When he first came in, he said, "You draft guys, you keep them in the building." Now, they're not guys that he drafted, and we've seen what happened to guys that he didn't draft, right? We've seen what happened to Nate Hobbs. We've seen what happened to Divine Diablo. We've seen what happened to Trayvon Moore and Reg. Um, we've seen what happened to those guys. They weren't drafted Raiders. Spytek said he believes in. He came from a culture where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 43 guys on their roster out of the 53-man roster that were drafted in-house. And that's what he said he was going to bring here. So if he stays to that, I think Mayer deserves another contract. I think, Trey Tucker could be that guy. We heard our coach, Clint Kubiak, talk about he thinks, Trey Tucker could be that guy. We'll see. We've all been waiting for him to break out in the nation. I hope he does. Tyree Wilson, I mean, we'll see what he does this year. I feel like Tyree Wilson this year is basically going to be on the inside. I mean, we're looking at this system, right? I know I've said it a million times. In a 3-4, I'd be surprised if it's close to 30% of the time, right? Most of the time, they're going to be probably in a nickel or a 4-2-5 because that's what we ran a lot with Patrick Graham. We know Robbie Leonard has a lot of to mix in that. So, um, I don't know. Tyree Wilson, it just depends. I would not be surprised if, somebody calls and asks to trade Tyree Wilson, that they go that route. But being that Robbie Leonard is the defensive coordinator, he all he does is talk about Tyree Wilson and what he can be. So I don't know if Rob Leonard would move on from Tyree Wilson. So if he has a decent year, I say bring him back. And Aiden O'Connell, I mean, you already know how I feel about that. I would keep all those guys in the building. Michael Mayer is an asset, right? He can block. You can put him in the backfield. You can run a lot of 12 personnel. Trey Tucker, whether he's the third or the fourth receiver on the team, he's an asset. That speed, always an asset. Some things he needs to work on, but he is. And then Tyree Wilson with just his length, you can put him at nose, right? He's been fine on the defensive line. A lot of people have been screaming since he's been drafted. He plays better on the defensive line, inside, interior, right at the 2 tech, at the 3 tech, wherever it is. I mean, why can't he get on the field at the 2 tech and just stop the run? He's got that long body, right? He's got those long arms. He's a damn good run stopper. I've said this since he was drafted, and I think he'd be great in the middle. But we'll see what Rob Leonard does with them. So I mean, keep all of those guys. How's your night been going, Reb? Hope you're having a good weekend. Appreciate you. It's all right. If AOC is looking for a new gig, Jiffy Lube is hiring. Yeah, Jiffy Lube is hiring. But guess what? If he went and worked there or at a grocery store and bagged groceries and somebody called him up, he'd be the next Kurt Warner. So don't make me block you, Lawrence. Don't make me block you. Angel Eyes, what's good? How you doing? Arnie Garza, question. Which free safety in the draft do you like after the first round to replace IPM? Um, I guess I like AJ Halsey, and I know he's not that guy. I know he's not the guy that I was talking about. He's kind of that box safety, but I think he could be that guy. He's got the speed to be able to get hash to hash, right? I think he can cover that back if he was a single high safety, and cover two, whatever. He's got the speed. He can cover. He's a he's a hit machine, right? I like AJ Halsey. I don't know if McNeil Warren will be there. More than likely, he's a first round guy, but if he's there, you take him. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of would like the idea of, you know, with that fourth round pick, since we have three of them, taking Lorenzo Styles. I believe if you can get Lorenzo Styles to be a cover type safety, he's already a decent tackler. He already has the bloodline. The dude runs a 4.340. I mean, he's built like a truck. You've seen what his brother looks like, right? He's just gonna get it, develop into that. So if it's me, Lorenzo Styles, that's my sleeper this year. I really believe Lorenzo Styles needs to be a Raider. If Al Davis was alive, he would be a Raider. He'd look at that speed, at that position, and say, "Bro, that's your guy. That's your guy. He could come up and stop the run. He can get hash to hash. He could turn around and run and chase, and chase guys like Lorenzo Styles, bro. That's the guy for me. But again, I wouldn't mind Halsey. I wouldn't mind um, McNeil Warren. I don't know. There's not really a lot of free safeties in this draft. Most of them are that strong safety nickel type box guy. Trade AOC to England with McDaniels. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. They released Dobbs, I believe, right? He's a free agent. They didn't re-sign Dobbs. I don't know who else they have on their roster. I wouldn't be surprised if Dick Daniels calls up and says, "Man, what do y'all want for AOC?" He's a perfect prototypical backup for a guy like Drake May. They're both guys that can stand in the pocket, tall, quick release. Um, I think that's a perfect fit. I would hate to lose him, but I think that's a good fit. Hopefully, the season will be better for the Raiders. I hope it will, man. I really hope it will. My early prediction: I got Tucker first 1,000 season under Kubiak. Jason Marshall, that's a good prediction. But I just don't feel like Brock Bowers, Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh, who probably will be the 1,000 yard receiver this year, and whoever else they decide to bring in, I don't see Trey Tucker getting enough receptions to be a 1,000 yard receiver. He definitely doesn't have the the twitch or the breaking tackle um, shit like a Jack Best, right? Who was fourth coming out of college, I do believe, in the last 3 or 4 years. Um, I think had the fourth best tackle breaking tackle rate after the catch, right? So I see Jack Best being that guy. But if Trey Tucker has a first 1,000 yards under Kubiak, I'm here for it. I really feel like Kubiak was trying to gas him up to maybe if he's, the third or fourth receiver coming into camp, going into the preseason, maybe you trade him, right? He's on the last year of his deal. But I feel like he's a guy that gets re-signed. But he has to have a breakout year. He had what, 662 yards, I want to say. Um, these fucking glasses are giving me a headache, bro. He had 660 something yards, 52 catches 56 catches on 92 attempts. That's not. Yes, he had bad quarterbacks throwing him the ball. Yes, they were under pressure, but it wasn't all the time. It wasn't all the time. So if you watch go back and watch a little bit of film, just put on, you know, Trey Tucker plays and just play 20 of them of last year and the year before. I don't see a guy that has the separation or the, breakaway speed or the contact balance or the arms or the hands or the strength to win contested catches. That's just not his game. Now, if Kubiak feels like he's the guy and puts him in the slot and goes and gets a X receiver, or Jalen Naylor is that guy, or Jack Best is that guy, right? And then you have a Brock Bowers. Look, he definitely could be that guy in the middle with that speed, but he's going to have to catch the ball. And I'm sure he's going to be working on it because, he hasn't made it to what, three head coaches now? Three head coaches, right? with his size, not being that guy. So I'm rooting for Trey. I'm rooting for Trey. I just don't know if he's ever going to be the answer for us. If he's that fourth guy, I'm good with it. That means our fourth guy is, if he's fourth on the depth chart, that means our wide receiver room is pretty damn good, right? But if he's the number one or the number two option, I'm just not excited with that. I'm not. Why trade Aiden and not give him a real chance his last year of his contract? Um, I don't know what their deal is with him, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea why they keep doing Aiden O'Connell dirty. And like I said, the only thing I can think about is the health issues, right? He's missed some games because of injury. He had the broken thumb. He had the broken wrist. He had the knee thing, um, the knee bruise. Right? You got to get tougher. You got to get tougher, and you got to be a guy that, I'm sure with that knee bruise, Aiden O'Connell was saying, "I'm gonna play. I'm good to go." I'm sure it was the coaches that held him out. Right? I don't think he's that type of dude that's gonna say, "Nah, I can't go," because when he broke his thumb or his wrist, he finished he finished that drive and went back out there. I do believe before he told anybody, they noticed, they're like, bro, what is wrong with this throwing motion? So the kid plays hurt, right? He's got some toughness, but if you can't, availability is the best ability. If you're not available, you're not going to be, penciled in as the starter or given the opportunity to be the starter unless they have a backup like Mendoza. So, we'll see what happens. Kubiak and John Spytek has said the best 11 will be on the field, right? The best 11 guys on offense, the best 11 guys on defense. Will they hold up to their word? Because I've heard that for the last 3 years. And I could tell you Aiden O'Connell was better than Geno Smith. I could tell you that Aiden O'Connell was better than Brian Hoyer. I could tell you that Aiden O'Connell was better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And we can all see that he was better than Gardner Minshew. So, man, I have no idea. I don't know. I have no answers. I have no answers. I just hope that for his sake, for the team's sake, there's a competition, and Kirk Cousins is not just pushed into that starting role like the other three quarterbacks that Aiden O'Connell has. Dude, Aiden O'Connell has more wins than Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer. Okay, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Brian Hoyer, Gardner Minshew, and Geno Smith. He has more wins than all three of those quarterbacks they tried to put in front of him. Now, Jimmy G won what, 6 games? So he almost has more wins than all of them put together. That's crazy. Someone will be injured in preseason and training camp. Quarterback AOC fourth round, or trade him before the draft for a fifth rounder. Um, you know, unless somebody calls and says we'll give you a fourth, I don't see him getting rid of him. It's just this. He's a guy that learns the playbook faster than anybody, right? You can see, um, he's just getting better. He's got better every single year. Now, last year was a down year because he was injured, and the offense was trash. I mean, we seen in the preseason everybody was dogging these quarterbacks. Oh, these quarterbacks don't look good. We also seen during training camp last year that this defense was picking off every single throw. Remember last year? The defense, 3 interceptions. The defense, 2 interceptions. The defense, 4 interceptions. Every single day. We all thought this defense was going to be great. Little did we know, Geno Smith was bad. But the writing was on the wall. And they still, right? Geno was horrible. Aiden O'Connell came back. They waited till the last game to play him. They traded a fifth-round pick for a Kenny Pickett, and you never used the guy. You put him in one time, he fumbled, and then you let him come in at the end of the game, throw a touchdown to Cedric Jackson, and then you play one game against the Eagles. Like, that was horrible. Horrible. If they can gain 30 pounds during the offseason, he could be our new long snapper. That might work. That might work. I don't know if he can gain 30 pounds, though. Cousins having playing time with Naylor in Minnesota. Were they in Minnesota together? I don't think Naylor has been that long. Were they? I'll have to look that up. But that'd be nice if they were. Um, Mark the Cheesehead saying Raiders are trash. Go somewhere with that trash. Who was your favorite prospect in this NFL draft? Diego Pavia. It's Diego Pavia, bro. It's Diego Pavia. I'm glad you asked that. Yes. Yes. He is my favorite player in this whole entire draft. The dude has swag. He's cocky. He has an arm. He's mobile as hell. And y'all didn't know, because I didn't know, by watching him in Vanderbilt. We're going to talk about him for a minute here. The Alabama game. Man, okay. I know he's 5'10. I know he's 198 pounds. But if you could put on another 12 pounds of muscle and be 210 at 5'10, you got at least at the bare minimum a Taysom Hill. Shout out for the $20 holler. I don't know who it was, but man, I appreciate you. I thank you. I'll get to it in a second. I just seen it pop up on the screen. But I don't want to get sidetracked, so I'll get to you. I apologize. But Diego Pavia, man, this kid, he's got he's got that Raider in him, bro. He's got that Raider dog in him. He is cocky, he is arrogant, he knows it, right? And a wise man said, it ain't bragging if you back that shit up. That's Diego Pavia. I know he made some stupid comments, right, about not winning the Heisman. But let's really think about it. Should he have won the Heisman? I mean, with his numbers that he put up, those numbers were insane, bro. Insane numbers. At Vanderbilt in the SEC, like this kid is a baller. He's nothing but a winner. And this has a little bit to do with it because I just watched tape like 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. I finally got to him just doing the quarterbacks. Haven't really looked at many quarterbacks. I already know what Taylor Green is. I watched him every single game, some live, right? I know what Taylor Green is. The rest of the quarterbacks, I did a little bit on Nussmeier. Drew Allar, I know what he is. I think he's a second round pick. I don't know why he doesn't go in the first. Same with Carson Beck. I mean, if you're looking at some of these guys that went in the first the last couple of years, or guys that have been drafted in the last couple of years, and you could tell me that these guys won't be NFL quarterbacks, crazy. But not to get off subject. So before I came on here, I turn on Barstool Sports, and who do I see? Diego Pavia. However you say his name. I think it's Pavia. With John Gruden. Yes, our John Gruden. The Raiders John Gruden. Talking it up. And, bro, he impressed the hell out of me. I'm going to be completely honest. He impressed the hell out of me. He goes up there on the board. He's drawing these plays up. He's explaining what he's doing. John Gruden asked him a question. He said, so you have a lot of control at the line of scrimmage. He said, oh, yeah. I had all the control at the line of scrimmage. So not only was this dude playing in the SEC against Bama, against Texas, against who else did they play? Anyways, not only is he in the SEC going to go up against these top level teams at 5'10 and 198 pounds, but he's shredding them. He's shredding them. He knows their defense. He knows what they're going to run. John Gruden's like, if the safety drops here, he's like, oh, then I do this. If the linebacker scoots over here, oh, then I do this. So, anyways, go watch it. You will have a whole new perspective of Diego Pavia. Like I said, Pavia, however you say his name, you will have a whole new perspective on this young man. He knows he's good, right? He's a winner. All he wants to do is win. He has that mentality where if you give him the football, he's going to make a play and win games. And as many games as they won and as good as they were, last year in the SEC, if somebody doesn't draft this kid, I'm telling you, y'all are stupid. If he makes it to a UDFA and somebody doesn't take him, but I wouldn't let him get that far. He's one of those guys where if you put him on your roster, whatever your quarterback is going to be 10 times better because he's going to fight for his life with Diego Pavia behind him. I guarantee you, this dude is going to push anybody. He's got that attitude, man. He knows football. He reads defenses. He went to Vanderbilt, which, you have to be pretty damn smart. There's not a lot of people that can get into Vanderbilt. Like 6% of college football players can get in there or some shit. Anyways, smart minded, knows football, loves the game. He said he had a chip on his shoulder because people wouldn't, he was a minus a 4-star recruit. He said, I didn't have no stars. I was like a minus 4-star recruit, right? Goes to New Mexico. Nobody else wanted him. He turned that team around, turns it into a winning organization, finally gets a chance with Vanderbilt because the coach there retired or whatever, and he goes there and turns that franchise around. This kid is a baller. He's a football guy, and I don't care about height when it comes to football guys. This dude is a football guy. You can't pass on guys that have that passion and love for football. Like John Gruden asked him, what if they try to put you in that Taysom Hill, role? He said, put me on the field, coach. He said, what if they want you to be, running back or a fullback or whatever? He said, I don't care. Just put me on the field. As long as we're winning, I don't care where I'm at. So this dude has a football mentality. He impressed the hell out of me, and he is my Jackson Dart of this year, man. Last year, I was like, dude, Jackson Dart is that guy, right? Y'all know how I felt about Jackson Dart. I said he was better than Cam Ward. I had him as number one on my board just because of his swag, his mentality, his toughness. That's what it takes to be a guy in the NFL. And that's what it took for Doug Flutie, right? He was a little bit more quieter, but he was tough, right? I mean, he played a long time in the NFL. It's not, sometimes size doesn't matter. Anyways, he's remembering plays from New Mexico. They're like, what'd you run on this play? He's like, oh, that's simple. That was this, and this. I remember the safety drop down here. And as soon as he did, I threw the ball because I was like, got him. Wide open touchdown over the middle. Like, this guy goes and, brings up another play. Gruden's like, what happened on this play? He's like, oh, man. He's like, as soon as I came to the line, I knew that they were going to, they were going to cover two and they were going to drop back because of his feet, right? He's like, I'm looking at his feet. He's got one behind the other. Dead giveaway. He's like, I snap the ball and I throw it. So this dude's a football guy, man. And anybody would be lucky as hell to have this kid on his team. And I can't wait. I can't wait to watch him in the NFL. It would be crazy if he landed on the Raiders because shit, he might take Mendoza's job. Just because his energy, bro. His energy, his knowledge of the game. And when you have, when you're smaller than everybody else and you gotta work harder, bro, that just it puts that chip on your shoulder. It makes you tough. So that's my guy in this draft, bro. That is my dude. That's my sleeper in all of the draft. So that's my guy, Ani Gaza. And my favorite prospect in the draft, I got a couple, man. I got a couple. I really like Mike Washington, because I'm a Razorback dude. But I think he's special and he's just going to be better in the NFL. Sonny Styles is, I guess, my top guy in this draft. I think he's going to be one of those, Ray Lewis type guys. I'm going to keep saying it. Bro. A bigger, faster, he just got to get that mentality. So Sonny Styles on the offense, it's Max Ehenekor. It was Jennings Dunker. I just feel like the Raiders, if they go get a Jennings Dunker, I believe it's bye-bye for JPJ. I believe it's bye-bye for Jordan Meredith, possibly even Caleb Williams. Or Caleb Rogers. I don't know why, Antonio Mafi, right? I don't know why you would have the nine offensive guards that we have, and Buford. I forgot all about Buford. So, man, we have a lot of guards on this thing. I love Jennings Dunker. I think he's everything he's about would just fit this, old school organization back in the 60s and 70s offensive linemen like Jim Otto, them rough, gritty type dudes that never get hurt, never come out of the game, play with busted orbital bones, right? Can't even see, eye swelled up, but never miss a play. That's Jennings Dunker. So I would love to have him as a Raider. I just don't see Spytek going after a guard with in the second round, and I don't see him getting out of the second round. So it's Max E Hennicore. I believe that's the best. That'll be probably the best tackle in this draft. If it's not Freeling, I think Freeling is going to have a damn good career too. So there's a lot of guys I like, but most of them are okay. Like, yeah, first round. Mark getting his ass pack. Damn, I'm that far behind. What team you hate more, Niners or the Chiefs? Um, you can't have hate in your heart, man. I don't have hate for any of these teams. I just dislike them. It's the Chiefs. I could give a rat's ass about the 49ers, right? We aren't in the Bay no more. There's no Battle of the Bay. Even when there was a Battle of the Bay, they pretty much slayed it. So, I ain't worried about the 49ers. We played them this year. I would love to stomp a mud hole and, put belt to ass, but it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs, the Broncos. I've never really hated the Chargers just because I'm an LA guy. Was born in LA. So, just gotta have love for that team, but just because they're a rival, not a Chargers fan either. Chiefs and Broncos, my dislike teams of all time, and the Cowgirls. I can't stand the Cowboys. Jack Ken in the building. What's it good, OG? Appreciate you, my guy. Cheers. Bud Clark. Did I not say his name? I was getting to that. I got sidetracked. Shout out Faded Raider for the $20 holler. Raiders! Nice. Chicago Bears in the building. What's good, man? What's good? King Eric. Eric. uh Raiders ain't never gonna win a Super Bowl with Max. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel that, Eric? One, Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland way better than Brock Bowers. Nah, bro. Nah. No. No, no. We are not going there. Are you trying to rile me up today? I'm gonna be calm. No, I'm just kidding. Come on. Cole Kmet couldn't hold Brock Bowers' jockstrap, bro. He's not even better than Michael Mayer. He's a decent tight end. I'll give him that. Colston Loveland, he's gonna be one of them ones. I ain't taking nothing away from him. He's a big dude. He could block. He could run. He can catch, and he's gonna be special, bro. He's gonna y'all got a real one for sure. But better than Brock right now, I don't feel that. If Brock Bowers was playing with Caleb Williams, bro, he'd have 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. He'd be the only one he'd throw the ball to. So, yeah, I don't feel that. Candy Angel in the building. Y'all go show some love on her channel. Salute Nation. I hope all is good in the hood. It's all good in the hood sometimes. Question. Do you see Bowers as a XYZ? Examine your zipper. Wide receiver to be on the field with more snaps. It's a good thing you brought that up. Because I was looking at the way they use the tight end in Seattle. And I don't really see Kubiak being one of those guys that changes his mind or, is going to change his philosophy on football and his whole system for a quarterback or a tight end, right? So I believe Brock's gonna be Brock. He's gonna get open no matter what. You really don't have to scheme him open. He's a mismatch on any linebacker, any slot guy, any corner, minus, maybe 3 in the league. I think that give him trouble. But he's got some of them back, right? They're in the division. The hell you doing with that kid trying to break his neck? um, so I don't know. I don't know. I want to see him at tight end. I think he's more of a threat at tight end, right? If you're telling me, like I said, if you're telling me you got Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh, and then Brock on the line, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Right? If you're running four receivers, then whoever you put out there, Trey Tucker, right? I'm good with that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they use Brock Bowers. Are they going to line him up in the backfield? Are they going to move him around, right? We know they play with two running backs. Excuse me. They play with two running backs, so that tells me one thing. We're going to run the hell out of the football, and we're going to run the football, and then we're going to run the football some more. And just when you think we're going to pass, we're going to run the football some more, right? We got a rookie quarterback or a 37-year-old quarterback, and either one of those are reasons why you run the football, at least early on in the season. So I look for a lot of running. I look for a lot of Brock Bowers to be in tight. If anything, you know, depending on who we get, if we don't get a true X in this draft, then more than likely he'll be a lot of X, right? A lot of the X receiver, a lot of the Y. But it doesn't matter where they play him. It doesn't matter. I think he'll be used all over just like he always has. Eric don't know ball with that Bowers comment, right? I mean, Colston Loveland's he's gonna be up there. I don't know if he's gonna be ever gonna be a 1,200 yard, 10 touchdown guy. I don't know. Not with the receivers he's got. Not with the quarterback that wants to run. Still just a little bit too early a lot of times. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what he does. But having two tight ends, it's kind of hard for one of them to be a 1,000-yard guy unless he's playing in the X or the Y or the Z or the F, wherever the fuck you want to put him. Sorry, brother. It's dinner time. Peace out. Peace out, Jack Kenna. Appreciate you pulling in. F the Bears won Super Bowl. LOL. The Bears. Raider Nation. Jeremy, what's good? Appreciate you. It's nice around here as a Cowboys fan. Joe Bob. What's good, Joe Bob? What else we got? My dad, Cowboys fan, so I can't hate. I don't hate either. I just never liked it. The fact that they called them America's team. They try to make everybody, push that on them. Raiders Cowboys Super Bowl needs to happen. That would be fun. That would be fun. I would love to smack the out of the Cowgirls in the Super Bowl. That'd be great. Love the stream, my man. Keep it up, brother. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Thank you, my guy. Means a lot. I hope the Raiders draft. So what? Oh, Joe Bob. Joe Bob. It would be a Raiders move. Mendoza over Prescott all day. So let's ask this. 16 people in the question. I got a question. How do y'all feel about Mendoza? Like, if you watch film on him, if you haven't watched film, if you watched highlights, if you just listen to guys like me and other guys talking and make up your own little perspective, what do you feel about Mendoza? Do you feel like he's a guy that is going to be ready to start day one just because of his work ethic, because of his grind, his love of the game? He doesn't play video games or mess around with Cooter or, he has no distractions. It's just football. So to me, I think that speeds up the process, right? You get up in the morning, you go practice. You get something to eat. You go back, practice. He just seems like a guy that's probably out there practicing, 10, 12 hours a day, getting better. But I heard a little interview, and he said he wasn't worried about the combine. He knows he's gonna go in. Somebody's gonna pick him, right? He's not worried about being first overall. It's not about the money to him, right? So very, very well respectable young man. I like Fernando Mendoza. I really do. I'm starting to like him more and more every day. But he said he wasn't worried about that, right? He wasn't out there trying to make himself look better at the combine. I mean, at the pro day, he was. It was about his receivers, his tight end, his running backs. He wanted them to run routes. He was even calling the routes that they were running to make them look better. But he said something that I thought was very interesting, right? He said, I'm not worried about where I'm at right now. I'm worried about my focus is getting better every single day, learning the West Coast offense. So no matter where I go, which that means the Raiders don't sound like they've told him, hey, you're the pick, right? You're the guy. Um, and if that's the case, that's kind of weird. You got somebody, supposedly he's got the playbook, which, like I said, I don't think it's the playbook. I think it's just a West Coast kind of system. But he said he wants to learn the West Coast system. He wants to be the best guy he can possibly be right now at the moment, so he could be the best guy in September, right? He's not worried about what he is in July, June, August, right? He's not worried about that. He's worried about being the best dude when September comes. So I think there could be a problem, man. I really do. I think Kirk Cousins came in believing he's going to be the starter, and I just don't see him beating out Mendoza. If this kid can pick it up, which I believe he can, right? I think he's athletic enough. I think he has damn good footwork. I think he can pick it up quick. It could be a problem. Not even King Arthur could pull me out of you. Weird. Weird. He isn't bad, but the SEC isn't the SEC anymore. About Pavia, I don't know. The SEC was still tough, man. They still have some dog defenses. Hit those like buttons. Sub our nation family out. Grow this channel. Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Man, y'all see the Dodgers game? What was the final score? Like 15-1 or something? They just murdered Toronto. You got shut down versus pro talent. Oh, he got shut down versus pro talent? Actually, he didn't. Going against those corners, he was murking Texas, bro. What do you mean? Like there's three NFL corners over there that are gonna go this year. Like two corners and a safety. He was tearing it up over there. Pavia's a dog, bro. I'm telling you, he's got that heart. Raiders are on the come up. Yes, they are. They are definitely on the come up. Share the live, get more. Yeah, definitely share the live. Do me a favor, tip your plug. That means comment, like, share the live out to your people. Let everybody know that we live talking football. We got some Tom Brady talk coming up in a minute. Miller Lite would do that. A Miller Lite? Down with that. I haven't had one of those in a minute. Question: what round will Diego Pavia be drafted or go undrafted? I really feel like once teams get him in the building, if it's a coach like John Gruden who likes that swagger, who likes that that toughness, who likes that little bit of cockiness, little bit of arrogantness, with a super intelligent guy that's athletic as hell, I don't know how you don't pick him with one of your draft picks. I don't know how you let him get to a UDFA. Because if you let him get to a UDFA, don't it go in order, right? The Raiders get first dibs. The Jets get second, right? On UDFAs, I think. I don't know how it goes. But yeah, oh no, that's free agency. But anyways, I don't know. I don't see a team letting this guy go. If they bring him in for a workout, if they bring him in for a visit, which I'm sure some teams will, just because of his athleticism, And if they really bring him in and talk to the young man and see what he's about, right? Because I thought, damn, this dude's just a cocky ass dude that, coming out there just slanging the rock around playing street ball. That is not the case at all. He knows defenses, he knows plays on the board. He's recalling plays and situations that happened from 2 or 3 years ago. He can process information. When you're be able to retain that amount of information, you can process that information. That helps in the NFL. If you're a smart minded dude, the size is probably going to hurt him, but at 5'10", I mean, come on, man. He can find throwing lanes. He can find throwing lanes. He can move the pocket. He's damn good at throwing on the run, right? I seen him throwing left and right, gets his hips around on both sides. I mean, the dude's a football player, bro. He's a football player. So I would be surprised if he's not drafted by somebody late in the rounds, right? He might be, could be that Brock Purdy guy, last pick in the draft, because somebody just doesn't want somebody to pick him up as a UDFA. Or somebody could be high on him like me and say, nah, bro, I'm taking this dude in a fourth, fifth, sixth round, but wherever your liking is, depending on what your system is and what your quarterback is. He isn't as good as Johnny. Not at improvising. Not at improvising. I will say that. But his toughness smashes Johnny Manziel, right? His quickness, his reading defenses pre-snap, knowing where he's going with the football, right? Decisiveness. I think is above Johnny. I really do. I think it is. And he can make all the throws. I mean, the kid's throwing from one hash to the other, which everybody's like, oh, look at Fernando Mendoza threw this ball from the hash to the other hash. But meanwhile, it's Omar Cooper coming back 5 yards, or 3 yards, falling on the ground to catch a back over the back shoulder throw. But Pavia makes that throw, and nobody says nothing because he's 5'10", right? So it's just how the NFL goes. But the young man's got talent, man. I mean, he might be out of the league in 5 years just because he's that Jackson Dart type guy. He's going to run over guys. He doesn't think he's smaller than everybody else. He's a football player, like I said. That's the only way to describe it, bro. The kid's got that dog in him. He tore his hamstring, tore his hamstring and played the next game. He was like, nah, bro, I don't have to run every play. I can stand in the pocket. So come on, man. With a messed up hamstring and you're playing in the next game, that says a lot for that kid. And I wouldn't disagree if somebody takes him if he's out in 5 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if this kid takes somebody's job or is a backup for somebody for a long, long time. And if he gets his opportunity, he might take somebody's job. Y'all are about to get the number one quarterback. And it's what you're talking about? Joe Bob. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. We've talked so much about Fernando Mendoza, and I've heard him talk so much that my ears are bleeding, right? And I'm sure everybody else is. What is there to talk about? He's the pick, unless the Raiders are smart and unless the Raiders shock the world. He's the guy. We already know that. What do you want to talk about, Joe Bob? This is why you're all okay with losing, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Question: will Pavia beat out ALC 4 as the scout QB as a UDFA? Arnie Garza always with the tough questions. It depends on the system, man. It depends on the system and the coach and what type of guy you want. If you want that fighter, guy that can make plays on the run, then we all know Pavia is that guy. But if you want a pocket passer, like a Flacco, like a Peyton Manning, right? Like a Tom Brady, like a Drake May, it's Aiden O'Connell. It's Aiden O'Connell all day. Aiden O'Connell's intelligences are way overlooked, right? I think a lot of people say shit. He stares down receivers. I don't know how that's the case when you're throwing the ball within 2.6 seconds. I don't know how you can stare anybody down. Blue 52 said hit one Mississippi 2 minutes. I mean, come on, bro. That's not like that's how long most guys look before they even look anyway. Look for their second and third read. He's already got the ball out. So I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on the system, man. Draft questions are welcome here. Yes, they are. Ask any questions you want. On break stop by to yell, Raiders! Furpo in the building. What's good, OG? I gotta go. He's talking about the worst quarterback in the draft for an hour. Bye. Bye. People keep bringing him up, and I'm just getting to the comments, bro. If you don't like it, you know where the door is. It's production. His production was fire, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are his numbers? Hold on. Production? Production? So you're going to make me keep talking about him. This is your fault. This is your fault. Joe Bob, it's all you. Bro. What? He had 3,539 yards in the SEC, 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with an 83.8 QBR. He also threw in on top of that a whole bunch of rushing yards. I can't find it. Where the fuck are they? Let's see, yards. Just in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, he had 430 yards in 4 games against Texas, Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Iowa. A rushing touchdown against all of those. There's a reason why he was runner-up or in the contention for the Heisman Trophy. Like this dude was in the contention for a Heisman Trophy, and it's talked about being a UDFA in the draft. This is what's wrong with football and scouts, bro. This is crazy. Your dog's name is Buford? Nice. Holy shit, am I really that far behind? All right, I gotta read these fast. Bye-bye, JPJ. It can be real. This concussion history is serious. You know, I've been on that trend. I've been maybe the only Raider content creator talking about him not being on this team last year and this year. Like, they forget about the injury history. That's real. That's real in the NFL. The penalties are real in the NFL. I love Jackson Powers Johnson, but I just don't believe he's a starting guard on a smart, outside zone scheme run. He might be. We'll see though. Who are you talking about? I don't know. Bye, JPJ. We are talking about whoever you want to talk about. Hope can have a long, healthy career rest of the way. Me too, man. Yeah, same, bro. Can't stand the Queefs and the Donkeys, right? Let's go. Go Bo Picks. No, Bo Nix is solid, man. I like Bo Nix. I had a high grade on him. I had him in the first round. I didn't think he was going to be what he is, but damn. Mile High Raider for 10 years, since 10 years old. F the Broncos. Jason Marshall, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Appreciate you in the building. Originally from Sac. Nice. I was born in Norwalk Hospital in California. Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver 2007 with Mendoza. Trade the farm and move up. I don't know about trade the farm. But it would be nice. I just don't think Mendoza has the arm to have a receiver like that fast that, I don't know. We'll see. I believe he can develop it, right? The timing would take some time. I don't think he's thrown to any guys that run 4.3 40s. I mean, Cooper ran a 4.34 or 4.3. It's not too bad, right? 3 first-round picks for Mendoza. Raider Rob in the building was good. Raiders. If Mendoza is great, we develop him for a few years, and then and then he signs somewhere else, like most quarterbacks. No, not like most quarterbacks. If he's great, he's not going nowhere, bro. They don't let him leave the building. He'll be the Raider quarterback. If he's even good, he don't have to be great. The quarterback play has been horrendous since Derek Carr. If he's even half-ass good, he'll definitely get another contract, and they'll be paying him probably the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it with this kid. Like I said, arm's not the greatest, but he can throw those 60, 65 yarders, 60 yards, 65 every once in a while. And he's just going to get stronger. He's packed on, pounds since the combine to his pro day. So I would hate to see him, man. I would hate to see us draft him number 1 and him go somewhere else. If we draft Mendoza, he better be a Raider for life. I don't see why he wouldn't. I really don't. I don't know how. I mean, they kept Derek Carr in the building for 9 years, right? I don't see him getting rid of him. Go Walter Payton. Yes. my favorite running back of all time. And yes, Marcus Allen. I know. But I played running back in high school, and Marcus Allen didn't have a workout tape that I could put in my VCR and try to be like him. But I know who did. Walter Payton. I played that video so much the damn thing snapped. I wish I still had it. Up there running hills. There's a lot of players that still do that workout today. Running hills with tires strapped around them and shit. I tried to do that when I was a kid. I wasn't strong enough. Mendoza flirting MVP by year 5. Book it. Okay, Jason Marshall. I like that. Then we have to make him the highest paid question. I mean, I don't think we have to make him the highest paid. I feel like Mendoza it's not about the money, right? I don't think it's about the money. His dad's a doctor. I think the family's got money, right? I don't think that's why he's doing this. So I think that's another reason why you draft him. I don't think it's a kid that he's going to be like, I want to be the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL. I think he's all about winning. And you don't even have to worry about that for 4 years, right? 4 years, 5th-year option, you go ahead. Yeah, but I believe this is my prediction. By year 4, they've already given Mendoza a contract. That's my prediction. I think he's going to be that good. I don't even think they wait till the 5th-year option, unless they're just trying to save money. He could be one of those dudes where they're just like, nope, let's just get it out of the way. He's going to be here for life. I hope that's the plan. Yeah, Drake May's going to be up there too, Donald Duck. I agree. If the Jets give 2 first-round picks this year, first round next year, and a second for 2027, D-Money, you can have Mendoza. Shit. I'll tell you this right now. If the Jets give me their second pick and they give me their highest pick next year, which that's hard to guess because are they going to be better than the Cowboys? We predict. I mean, are the Cowboys going to be better than the Jets? Most people think that, but I would hate to be like, okay, we want the Jets pick, and then the Jets somehow be better than the Cowboys, and the Cowboys be higher than the Jets. So what I'm getting at, if they want to give me 2 first rounds, their first and their second this year, and a first next year, I might be willing to have to tell them I might think about it. It might take a couple days. Because, I mean, damn. If first overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, national championship, undefeated. 2 guys come to mind. Joe Burrow and the great Cam Newton. Right? Successful that have done that. If you find me any other ones, and I'm not talking about Terry Bradshaw in 1935, right? We're not talking about that. I'm saying in the modern day, in the last 30 years, if you find me a quarterback that's won all of those and has won a Super Bowl, you know, then I'll change my mind. But taking a guy number one, history shows the odds are not in your favor. And if you think you could possibly get a Ty Simpson, you know, at 36 or at 33 and get another first round next year in a stock stack crazy draft and a second this year, I mean, I don't know how I wouldn't take that. I really don't. I don't know how I wouldn't take that. Mendoza will work out what will work out everyone. Totally team guy, one success, not money, 6'5", 231, accurate, reads defenses, is learning from Greasy, now Brady, in offseason, plus a lot of college starts. I agree, Arnie, guys, except for one thing. I don't think he's learning shit from Tom Brady unless it's over a Zoom call. Um, and let's get into our next subject before I read the rest of these comments. But yeah, I agree with the top part. The bottom part, I don't know. I don't know. Reports are the Raiders had nothing to do with Brian Greasy coaching up Fernando Mendoza. This is reportedly Mendoza's camp that reached out to Brian Greasy. Now, it's no secret that Brian Greasy, Tom Brady have a relationship from Michigan, right? They also have a relationship with Clint Kubiak. So Greasy and a lot of people in the Raiders already have connections. They already have connections. So it's not a coincidence that that's who they decide to bring in to coach Fernando Mendoza in the West Coast offense, right? No surprise at all. But if it is their camp and the Raiders had nothing to do with it, this is really, really going to make me question if we don't see a crazy trade on draft day. It really is. It really, really is. As a Raider fan, I'll take Cousins as a bridge to Mendoza. Do you think we trade our pick? There's always a possibility, man. It's the Raiders. We know Spytek values picks. If he sees that there's two guys or three guys in this draft that he can get that are in the top 10 or 15 of his board over one, I mean, you do the math. You do the math. Do you take the one or do you take the possibility of two or three and having a pick next year? I mean, you definitely have to think about it. And you have Cousins in the building who could or could not, be that bridge guy. He could be that 18 touchdowns and 16 interception guy that he was 2 years ago, that Geno was this year. He could very well be that, right? We have no idea. So, or he can have a damn good running game, a damn good defense, and Kirk Cousins could, win us 8, 9, 10 games, right? We don't know. We don't know. But I'm just not on board with the whole Kirk Cousins and Mendoza thing. I know a lot of people are. It's great. Yes, if it works out, it's a great scenario. But if it doesn't, it's way worse than if it does, right? Miami was pro-ready team, and Mendoza crushed them. D-Money. D-Money. Did you watch the game? I'm just curious. Did you watch it? Or did you just see stats? Because I didn't see Mendoza crush Texas at all, bro. I seen Indiana's defense hold Texas to one of their lowest scoring games all year. I seen them run for what, 184, 100, almost 200 yards. I don't see that was all Mendoza. The only thing Mendoza did in that game that crushed Texas or Miami was the last run bouncing off of guys and diving in the end zone. That was a huge play. But let's not forget, Miami and that pro ready team drove right down the field, and Carson Beck had a chance to win the game. They missed it by this much. By this much. So I didn't see Mendoza crush Miami. I didn't see that. I seen a Miami team that had the first best rushing attack in all of football at 184 yards a game. I seen the fourth best defense in all of football. I seen an offensive line that was ranked very, very high. And I seen two receivers that should be first round picks in Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr. I believe both of these guys should go in the first round. It's a travesty that they don't. But it's the NFL, and sometimes, guys fall a little bit later, just depending on how the draft goes. So Surratt is not going to make it out of the second, but you have two guys that are possible first round picks. So I don't know about Mendoza killing any of the teams he played, right? What was his numbers? What was his stats in that game? Where's my phone? What was his stats in that game? How much did he kill Miami? Fernando Mendoza stats versus Miami National Championship. Fernando Mendoza led the Hoosiers to a 27-21 victory. He completed 16 of 27 passes for 186 yards. He added one crucial 12-yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter, earning him MVP. Now, I encourage you to go back and watch the second half of that game. He was not great at all in the second half of that national championship game. 16 for 27 with receivers that had 6 total drops all year long. Out of the whole receiving, out of all the receivers, and I believe the running backs and the tight end as well, they had 6 drops all season, but he was 16 for 27. It's not great numbers. That's not great numbers at all. It's not great numbers. And 186 yards. I mean, that's not winning a lot of football games unless you have a great defense, a great running attack, and damn good special teams. I don't see many quarterbacks not having a defense or a run game winning games throwing for 186 yards. I just don't see that. I don't see that. So respectfully, I don't think he killed or crushed anything. Carson, ow, shit, I almost broke my nose. Fucking damn. Ow. All right. Why ain't you working? Carson Beck, national championship game stats. They're like, which one? He's been in so many. Carson Beck was 19 of 32 for 232 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And if you go back and watch that game, they had a lot of drops. Miami had a lot of drops just by itself throughout the season, right? No way, draft Mendoza all day. I hope everybody's right, man. I hope it's the right decision. Raiders can't afford to miss. He's only 22, plenty of years to grow and get better. Trust the process. Yeah, I'm with you, Mendoza. The franchise, baby. I'm with you. Pavia is a little calmer. Johnny Football 2.0. Well, not if you've seen that dude out not if you've seen him out in the clubs. He's not. Pavia is this year's Manung guy. Oh, okay. Talk that shit, pigs. I would love that. I would love that. Be that breakout dude drafted late, just turns out to be the best quarterback in the damn league. That'd be awesome. Rick, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you in the building. At 36, what's your take on it? Well, D Money, I don't know, man. I don't know, my guy. I don't know. I'm gonna go out here for a second. Well, I really want them to take Max Ehenekor if he's there. If he doesn't get drafted in the first round, which I believe he'll be drafted in the first round. But if he doesn't, I would really like him to take Max Ehenekor. And I know I just said I believe in DJ Glaze, and I do. But I don't think Ehenekor would be ready year one, right? It may be maybe year two, maybe halfway during the season. But I think that's one of the best players in this draft. A kid that's only got 5 years college experience, and he's looking like a top first round pick. You don't get that much. You don't get that much. His upside, his ceiling is through the roof. Played on an okay team, right? Was okay. So I'd be fine, but I don't really see him going offensive line early. That's just my opinion. I feel like it's going to be a trade back and probably a safety if there was one there, or a wide receiver. If you look at last year, right, they tried to take that big X receiver in the fourth round. It didn't work out for them. They tried to take their slot guy in the second round. That might have worked. Maybe this year they go try to get that X receiver in, early in the second round. But I don't see him taking one at 36. I said it yesterday. I do believe Jeremy Bernard. It's kind of where I'm leaning, and I have a pretty good track record. 2 years of YouTube. I predicted Dylan Labe. I predicted Charles Grant. I predicted Jack Besh, and Ashton Genty being picked sixth overall. So in two drafts, I got four guys that I thought were going to be Raiders, and I feel like this year it's Jeremy Bernard. If they can get him, trade back and get him and get another pick, I think that's the pick. I wouldn't mind corner, but then again, you know, we got guys like Greedy Vance, we got guys like Darian Porter that we don't really know what, they haven't shown us anything because they haven't had a chance, right? When they did have a chance, I thought Greedy Vance played very well as a UDFA, right? And that might be a steal. That dude might be a steal. So do you go corner high? Do you take my guy Julian Neal in the third, in the fourth, something like that? I don't know. I'm really lost on this draft, to be honest with you, because I'm looking at it and I don't really know what the Raiders' needs are right now. If they go Fernando Mendoza number one, it's kind of, we're just, we need, like I said, we need a starting safety. We probably need a starting right tackle, or at least somebody to push DJ Glaze. And then after that, I mean, what, an X receiver? Like, I think we have, maybe another running back to take the load off of Genty. I don't think we need a whole lot. I think we got to, it's like cooking a dinner. It's like cooking dinner, and you go to the store to buy groceries, but you don't know what the hell dinner you're cooking, right? Are you making spaghetti? You making lasagna? You're going to cook up some steak? You're going to fry up some shrimp on the Barbie? What are you going to make? Tacos, burritos? You don't know. So if you don't know what you're cooking, it's kind of hard to go shopping for the groceries, right? Feel what I'm saying? So until we really know in the next couple days, might have some guys pop in. There might be, hey, this guy looked a little impressive, right? We really won't know until after the draft, till camp starts, what we have in these guys that have been drafted the last couple years, right? There's some of them that have hung around. There's some that were on the practice squad, like Jafari Harvey. Does he take that next step? Traven May. If these guys can show that they're in the building, working, grinding, it kind of changes what we draft. It really does. Give me your takes. Who do y'all want? Who do y'all want the Raiders to take at 36? You want to trade back, trade up in the first round? Where I think there's only maybe 16 guys with a first round grade. The rest of the guys are, an iffy. I'll tell you what. I'd be happy with a right tackle, a safety, a corner, or a receiver. If we get any of those in round 2, I'm good. If we trade back, I'm good with that. Give me Cole Payton and Green, and we go with multiple quarterback formations. That would shock the NFL, bro. That would make defenses not know what the hell is going on. How do you scheme for that? Nobody does that in the NFL. I would love to see that. I'm telling you right now. I just don't think. Look, let me ask you this: what round would you take Cole Payton? Because I'm looking at his athleticism, right? It's it's off the chains, through the roof, all of that. I'll turn this camera off for a second. Right? Through the chains, all of that shit. But where would you draft a Cole Payton? A guy that's got 1 year as a starter, in a Division II. Where do you take that guy? Do you take Payton in the 4th, in the 5th, in the 6th, in the 7th? There's some people saying they'd be surprised if he doesn't get taken in the 2nd or 3rd. But then I have to ask this question. If you're going to take a Cole Payton in the 2nd or 3rd, how the hell can anybody say that Ty Simpson is not a first-round pick? I mean, how do you justify that? Because Cole Payton has about as many starts as Ty Simpson, but he sure the hell didn't play SEC teams. He wasn't playing Indiana. He wasn't playing Oregon. He wasn't playing Ohio State. He wasn't playing Texas, right? He wasn't playing none of these. So I don't know. I think Cole Payton has definitely talent to develop into one of those guys. And I said it before, he could be the Tyler Shuck of this year, but just doesn't have the starts, has like the least amount of starts. Tyler Shuck had the most amount of starts, right? I wouldn't mind seeing a Cole Payton. But if we're going to go that route, give me Diego Pavia and Taylon Green. Trade back, draft these quarterbacks late, and let's develop them. Let whoever, Kirk Cousins, battle it out with Aiden O'Connell, and let these dudes see what they got. Let's see what Kubiak has as a developer of players, because honestly, we haven't seen Kubiak develop a quarterback, right? It was Brian Griese who developed Brock Purdy as a 49er. He couldn't develop Spencer Rattler, right? That team fell apart with the Saints. So I would love to see that. I'll take Taylon Green all day. And I'm going to say this about Taylon Green, because y'all know how I feel about Taylon Green. He pisses me off. He makes me so mad, because I've watched this kid make throws where I'm just like, how the hell do you throw that off his left foot, falling backwards from one hash 60 yards downfield to a covered receiver for a touchdown, right? I've seen him throw the ball over the middle with guys in his face where he's getting hit and he's turned like this way and still gets the ball out. And then you see plays where he's got a wide open receiver and he throws it 3 yards in front of him to a defender. And I just don't know how he does that. Now, if there's a coach, like I've said a million times, if there's a quarterback coach that says, bro, I can make this guy a straight quarterback, I can fix his mechanics, I can get him to read defenses better, I think he'd be the best damn player and the best quarterback in all of football. I really do. His size, his athleticism. But my knock on Taylon Green is the inconsistency, man. You have so many great plays and then so many just you don't even look like a quarterback, like a college quarterback. And if somebody could fix that, man, And whoever drafts him, if they don't make him a receiver, which I don't think he's gonna do, that kid is gonna be special. He's gonna be special. Pavia could possibly join the squad, throwing to Taylor Green, Peyton, and Stowers. You want Stowers too? That would be nasty. Raider Ryan was good. Raider Paul was good. Mendoza one. Wide receiver two. Who's that wide receiver then? Raider Paul. Who's your wide receiver? That's Dad's money, not his, Rebel. Yeah, but you got a trust fund. Come on. When your daddy's got money, you a trust fund baby. He might have had that trust fund pulled because he got his own millions, but Raiders are cheeks. I'll be nice. I'll be nice. I'll be nice. Ten seconds for you, my guy. 10 seconds for you. Raiders are on the come up, bro. That defense is looking nasty. Defense is looking nasty. The Raiders should draft a quarterback. It always works for them. You got jokes, Bill. Bill's got jokes. Everybody give Bill a hand. He coming in with jokes. Pick 36, got to be defensive tackle. All right, let me know why. I'll get to it eventually. I don't know how deep I am into these comments, but it's deep and cold too. Mendoza the real deal. I believe so, man. I believe so. Are you a Raiders fan? Nah, it's just part-time. It's part-time. Only when they win, only when they're good, which hasn't been 20 years. Yes, I'm a damn Raider fan, bro. Come on. Yeah. Raiders. Little bit, just a little bit. Now we're effing other fans, bro. You're all right. Wait, what? Attention viewers. Please add the strict editing policy in our live stream. We thank you for your attention to the matter. Okay, Cast Blast. Mendoza is a one-year wonder. Hope it works. Kubiak. Oh, could be Johnson or McDaniels. Hope it works. Could be interesting. Man, don't say one-hit wonder, bro. I've had that same question over and over and over again because you can watch tape on Mendoza. You can see his progression. You can see him get better. You can see him learn the system, get more comfortable, get more deadly, become a sniper on the sidelines and those back shoulder throws, which not a lot of quarterbacks can make those back shoulder throws with the timing and the accuracy and the ball placement that Mendoza can. So, nose tackle question. I think the nose tackle position is overrated. I don't think we're going to need a true nose tackle, right? I believe we have guys in the building that can, be that nose in a 3-4. But I just don't see us being in a 3-4. That's our base defense. Most teams are in their base defense around 30% of the time. I don't see the Raiders being in that base defense more than that, right? Do you really draft a nose tackle in the second round with all the needs that people think we still have on this roster? When that's one of our deepest positions is the defensive line. To be honest, if you look at the position groups for the Raiders, one of the deepest position groups is the defensive line. That front seven. It's the nastiest. It's the nastiest group any way you want to look at it. So I don't think we take one second round. I think they're bringing in guys like McClendon. What was his name? Nate McClellan that they brought in for a 30 visit. I don't know. I feel like it. I feel like they're going to get a defensive tackle, but I'm looking probably, fourth round. I don't see it being a second round pick. I could be wrong. You like the Raiders? Do you think? What do I think about the Bills? I think they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think they finally got a receiver for him to throw the ball to. They got a run game, but they got a new head coach, and we'll see how that goes. At 36, I would take safety, if not defensive tackle. So D-Money's got safety. Again, if they take defensive tackle, who is it? Who do you got? Please don't tell me Lee Hunter or Caleb Banks. I just don't think Lee Hunter is, you know, got that athletic body to play 17 games in the NFL. You know, if he's playing 50 snaps a game, I just don't. That's how I feel about Lee Hunter, and Caleb Banks coming off the injury. You don't draft guys that are injury prone. Being a Raider with the Tyree Wilson thing, that should make any Raider GM, scout, or anybody that has anything to do with the drafting just totally shy away from any injury. And for that reason, no Caleb Banks. Who's left? Who's left? Who's left? I don't believe there's really a true number one defensive tackle in this draft. You know, that's a dominant first round pick. So for that reason, I say you take a chance later in the rounds. We need an X receiver. We need a safety. We could probably use another corner because we don't know who the slot guy is going to be, and we don't have that filled. I think the Bills could be, you know, they could be one of those teams that's in the playoffs again, or they could be one of those teams that struggles. We'll see. What is better, GP or JSN? I mean, it's got to be JSN, right? He just got the highest paid receiver of all time. Got to be him. Emmanuel, McNeil, Warren, Toledo. I like that. I like that a lot. If he's there in the second round, I would not be surprised whatsoever if that's the pick. If they can't find a partner to trade back, if he's there at 36. But I really see somebody taking a chance on him on the first round. I'm going to tell you why. There's one quarterback, maybe two in the first round. There's one running back in the first round. There's maybe, I think you're reaching for two defensive tackles in this first round. And the rest of the draft seems to be safety, linebacker, edge, wide receiver. And, you know, offensive line, there's a couple guards. The rest, you know, it drops. Tackle, it drops. So the best talent, like I said, safety, corner, linebacker, edge, and receiver. And I think that's going to be a lot of it. So if he's there, man, definitely take him. If not, I wouldn't mind Bud Clark. I think Bud Clark, if you put on a little bit of weight, he's got the speed. He definitely knows how to cover. He's a ball hawk. The Raiders need a ball hawk more than anything. Would you like McDonald if he falls to 36? Wouldn't be mad at Boast or Lamo. All I thought was wide receiver, better value. If Caden McDonald falls to the second round, I feel like there's what? We pick at 36, so there's three teams ahead of us. We might have to move up to get him if that's the way they want to go. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think he would definitely be one of those dogs in the middle for many, many moons to come. I would be happy with McDonald. Lamo, I'm not big on Lamo. Lamo or Fano. And here's the reason. Do you really want to take a tackle that's 308 pounds? That dude's going to get bull rushed, pushed around all day long. I don't care how athletic you are. Neither one of those guys, Lamo or Fano, to me, are tackles. And if you put them at the guard spot, you're going to get pushed around there too. Like, for me, a guard, you got to be at least 320, 325 and athletic, right? That's a guard to me. Tackle, I mean, same thing, bro. You want to be like 320, 340, especially if you're 6'5" or 6'6", like 6'5", 6'6", and 300 pounds. That's scary to me. Now, you can pack on weight in the NFL, and they're both athletic as hell. But does that weight, change? Can they change position? Therefore, I wouldn't take either one of those in the first or the second. That's just me, though. Denzel Boston. Now, there's a guy after my own heart right there. Denzel Boston is my guy, dude. That's my number one receiver in this draft. He has been since day one, when nobody was talking about him, when nobody said, Oh, he's not going to be shit. He played at Washington. He's not going to be the guy. He's been up. He's been down. Some people had him in the top 10. Then he fell to the 20s. Now they're looking at the 30s. I just don't know how this dude doesn't go in the first round. If you're looking for an X wide receiver that's physical, that can win after the catch, that can run damn good routes, Denzel Boston is your guy, man. Denzel Boston is your guy. And if he's there at 29, at 30, I'd move up. I'd move up to get him without hesitation. Up dog 3-5. How many pigeons do you think I could carry at one time? Are these pigeons in a bag? Are they flying around? Are they alive? I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's a crazy question, but a lot. I'm going to say a lot. I mean, without a bag, I probably get like 20. I mean, they got legs. You could just slide them between each finger, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yo, Raiders fan, question. Tampa Bay Bucks here. What is the question? 2016 was the last good time. Is that the question? Wait, what's the question? Where's the question? Um, Perfect the Rogers back shoulder throw. I think he's gonna be just fine. Yeah, that back shoulder throw is nasty, but you gotta gain a connection with your receivers. And the only way to do that is to be on the field. You don't get enough time in practice. There's not enough time in camp. There's not enough time in pads to be able to get timing with these guys unless you're an A1 quarterback, right? If you can come out on day one like Aiden O'Connell did in preseason and just tear it up as a rookie, right? I think he's gonna shock a lot of people. Raiders faded Raider with the $2 holla. I appreciate you. What up, Rev? How's it doing, bro? What's good with you, my guy? It's all good over here. What's good on that side? Appreciate you popping in. 1 year wonder, meaning he was very solid for 1 year, mid at Cal. Doesn't mean one hit wonder, like he won't be good. Just interesting, excited to see how he progresses in the NFL. And that's the main thing with Fernando Mendoza, right? We know he took 5 snaps in his whole career under center, right? We know he doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not going to throw it 80 yards standing flat, right? He's got to put his body into it. He's got to get a good hitch up, to get that ball and get some oomph into it. And there's no problem with that. There's no problem with that. But I looked at, and I've said this, a couple times already in the last couple lives, is you look at Kent State, you look at Old Dominion, you look at Indiana State. He just got better. He started out rough. I think in the Kent State, I seen four turnover worthy plays, minimum 4. Now he only had 24 through for the year or something. I don't know. I counted more than that. I'm not gonna nitpick, but he had 4 or 5 in that game, and I think he had an interception in that game. And then Old Dominion, you know, looked like a deer in the headlights in the pocket, running around, ducking his head. The next game and the next game, he got better. He started playing these big schools, right? And the defense shut these guys out, and all he had to do was be the game manager, not turn the ball over, and get your team down the field. And I think he did that, very easily. So, yeah, I'm excited for the progress. I don't think he was a one-hit wonder. I think he was a system fit quarterback, and the Raiders just need to acknowledge that and make him, a system fit quarterback in this system, because I believe he's smart enough and intelligent enough and has a big enough brain to process information. And I think if you can do that in the NFL, man, you should be good, right? You got a little bit of mobility. Your accuracy is off the hook. You got a back shoulder throw. I don't know if you listen to rap, but Offset from Mingos and Little TJ just got shot at a casino 2 hours ago. What? In Vegas? For real? That's crazy. What? Is that for real? Yeah, I listen to the Migos. And yes, I listen to some rap or a lot of rap, but that's wild, dude. That's wild. I think he'll be given tons. Wait, I think he'll be good. Oh, I think he'll be good. I've seen a ton of media says he won't be transcendent and he'll be a backup for the whole time. It's a league, which I think is a bit of stinky. For Mendoza, we talking about Mendoza here? I don't think Mendoza's going to be a backup, bro. He's got everything you need to be a starter in the NFL. You just gotta take it slow, man. You just gotta have patience with this young kid because he's 22. You're 22 years old. You're going into the NFL. You've won a national championship. You took your team undefeated or helped take your team because it wasn't all him. But only 6 turnovers. That helps. That helps big time. He got shot in Miami. That's crazy, crazy. That's wild. Um, all right, the Tom Brady thing, and then I'm gonna get off here. Shout out to everybody that's rocked with me this long. Tom Brady, man, there has been reports, and there has been a article released from an interview. I believe it was 199, um, 199 Sports or something. I can't remember, but anyways, Tom Brady said he's feeling like he has too much to juggle. And we all know that he's tried to come back to the NFL. And the league told him no, right? Because he's minority owner. And you can't own a football team and play for one at the same time. You're not Al Davis, right? You can't do that. But even with the broadcasting and the Raiders and all the shit going on, Tom Brady seems like he's going through a midlife crisis and he's finding a hard time having the time that he needs to be involved in the things he needs to be involved in. Could there be a scenario? And I think there already is, to be honest. And I'm going to tell you my reasons why. Could there be a scenario where Tom Brady, still minority owner, still makes his money, still gets his profit, but steps back like Mark Davis has done and lets the grown-ups in the building, not that he's not a grown-up, the grown-ups in the building, right, run this team. And if you need anything, if you have any questions, right, about a trade or bringing in a guy or whatever it is, right, you call and clear it with Tom Brady, Mark Brady, Tom Davis, whatever you want to call him, right? You call and clear it up with the boss. But it's already feeling like he's already stepped away from the Raiders, right? He showed up at the national championship game, but he hasn't been in all the meetings for the players. There were players that came in for interviews that thought Tom Brady was going to be there. He wasn't. There were coaches that came in for the coaching cycle interviews that thought Tom Brady was going to be in the interviews. He wasn't. Also, he's a minority owner. There was an owner meeting just a couple days ago, last week. They had an owners meeting. Tom Brady was nowhere to be found. So all these people are thinking, oh, Mendoza's going to be great because you got Tom Brady to mentor him. I think Tom Brady is starting to take a step back from the Raiders. I feel like he feels this team is in good hands. Tom Brady was asked about the Las Vegas Raiders and where he feels like this team is. And he said they have a lot of work to do. They? What you mean they? Aren't you part of this? So it doesn't seem like the Raiders are as connected to Tom Brady as everybody thinks. And I think he's got a little bit too much on his plate. I think he's having, like I said, that midlife crisis. He's at that age. And, broadcasting just isn't enough, which is why he tried to come back. Could there be a situation where Tom Brady can't scratch that itch and decides to sell his share for the Las Vegas Raiders to come back to the NFL? Let me know how y'all feel about that. Appreciate everybody in the building. You've seen a lot of podcasting guys talking about how they're not impressed by Mendoza. Um, which podcaster guys? The only one I've seen is 805 Raider. That's the only Raider guy I've seen that ain't impressed with Mendoza. And I respect his opinion, but I think he's right. He's right. There's a lot of ifs, and you don't draft a guy first overall if you have too many questions. But every first overall pick has had questions, no matter who it was. John Elway, Joe Montana, right? It doesn't matter, bro. They've all had Troy Aikman. I mean, Tom Brady was so good and so great in college that it got him picked sixth over in the sixth round of the NFL draft, right? So these guys don't always get it right. Most of the time they miss more than they hit. And I feel like Mendoza is going to shock a lot of people. And there's going to be a lot of Raider fans that are going to be like, damn, I wish I would have never said that out loud or felt that way. Just my opinion, right? A lot of people might have to eat crow. I might be one of them. He might suck ass, and I might be like, damn. But it is what it is. I feel like he's the guy. I feel like he's, I don't want to say a can't miss, but I really feel like he has all the tools to develop into, something special for this franchise for many, many years to come. And if that's the case, bro, I'm good with it. And I've said this too. If you don't draft Mendoza, number one, and you don't find somebody to trade back with, who do you take? Do you take a Arvell Reese, a Sonny Styles? What's that saying to Max Crosby, who thinks he's going to be here for life, right? What kind of problems are you creating in the building? There's not really a lot of guys in this draft that are worth the first overall pick. I mean, I'm not taking Jordan Tyson. I'm not taking Carnell Tate. I don't, as much as I love Denzel Boston, I don't believe he's a first overall pick. Sonny Styles, yeah, but do you really take a linebacker first overall? I mean, if you really think his comp is, if he can turn out to be a Fred Warner or, one of those type guys, then yeah. But first overall, that's crazy, right? So who do the Raiders take if they can't find a trade partner? I think you're pretty much stuck rolling the dice, taking Fernando Mendoza, and seeing how it plays out. If it doesn't play out, hopefully you still got Aiden in the building, or maybe they draft another guy this year. I don't know, but I feel like the Raiders are in that position where it's Mendoza or shock the world. And I'm tired of shocking the world with guys like Alex Leatherwood, with guys like Damon Arnett, with guys like John Abrams, with guys like fucking, I don't even want to talk, Tyree Wilson, right? I'm tired of shocking the world in a bad way. So Mendoza is the pick. Unless somebody comes out their pockets with a whole bunch of capital, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. Jason Ruiz, what's good? What's good? What's the deal with quarterback Kirk Cousins? Well, the Raiders pulled the trigger today. He is officially signed with the Las Vegas Raiders as the quarterback. Will he be the starter? I don't know. I just don't feel like he can beat out Aiden O'Connell. And people are going to, say what they want. It is what it is. Shit. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. Standing on my shit. I don't believe he's better than Aiden O'Connell. Maybe in the past, yeah. Maybe, possibly. But I don't think he's better than Mendoza right now. I think Mendoza's upside is too much. His athleticism is better than Kirk Cousins. His size, being hard to tackle, but he's got a long way to go. So it's going to be a very interesting preseason. It's going to be a very interesting season. And the next 3 months are going to tell a lot about where this team is in the future and how much of the past we've put in the past. So shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate y'all. I've been on for 2 hours. If y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about, I ain't got nothing else to talk about. And I'm going to hop the hell off here. But ask away. We are to the bottom. I've caught up to everybody's questions. Unless you are still unintelligent and lazy. What? Find me. What? I don't know what that means. Find you at what? Why do I want to find you? You trying to tell me to follow you? What's the deal, bro? What's the deal? At what? On what? On what? I don't get it. I don't get the comments. But so that's what I got, man. That's what I got for y'all today. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about the Tom Brady thing. I kind of like it. I've been saying the whole time. Yes, it's nice to have the Tom Brady effect where people are like, oh, Tom Brady's in the building. Let's go to the Raiders, right? It's good to have that. I think it helps get people to the building. But then when people get here, they're kind of misled because they're like, where's Tom Brady? Tom Brady's not in the building. Tom Brady ain't doing shit. We don't even see him once every 6 months, right? So he's not developing players. He's not out there in the off season trying to show guys correct their throwing motion or reading defenses with these guys. We've heard one time Cam Miller and Aiden O'Connell sat and watched film. That's it. That's the only thing we heard about Tom Brady doing anything with any of these quarterbacks. So I don't know. We'll see. But I like the fact that, if you're an owner, just stay away, do your job. When we need you, we'll call you and let the Raiders, let Spy Tech cook. Let these guys in the building cook. Kubiak first year, man. Let him, do his thing. Bring him the guys that he needs and let's roll with that. So if Cousins is the guy, what can I do? Not watch? That's never going to happen. So if Cousins is a quarterback, I'm going to watch. If Geno's the quarterback, I'm going to watch. If it's Jamarcus Russell, I'm going to watch. If they draft Ty Simpson, I'm going to watch. So it doesn't really matter, right? I'm bought into this shit. I ain't going nowhere. I just hope they do good. I just hope they draft right. And I think by Spytek's last draft, the Raiders are going in the right direction. So with that, man, much love. Appreciate everybody. Protect yourself, your mind, your family, and your loved ones. And always just win, baby. Peace. Raiders. Much love.